So I got up here this morning and got a fire started. Last night, the boys and I worked on things a little bit later. Everett's got all of the ceiling insulation up, at least this initial layer. We're going to come back in after we get drywall in, and we're going to blow in insulation, about another 12 inches or so of blown in on top of that. I'm going to get enough in there to get it up to around R38 or R44, somewhere in that range. But I came up here and I started a fire. We had a little bit of coals, but they weren't hot. There was just some charcoals left in there because I choked the fire out when we went to bed. So I started the fire up here this morning. It's now been about an hour, and it's so incredibly different. I checked the thermometer that we have in here, just a little, $3 hang on the wall kind of one. And it read 36 degrees inside. It's now just about, right at 1 hour after starting the fire. And I moved the thermometer over there, the far corner of the building and next to the window. And resting there at the corner of the window, I've got it hanging on a screw so it's not getting up against anything. And it's reading 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty comfortable in an hour. And the fire's still kind of getting at pace to get to a nice coal bed and everything. So that's pretty nice. Such a difference. Now I won't be just burning heat to keep a fire to come back and warm to. We can actually warm up in here and just work and be nice. So it's so good. I'm going to get doing some of the foam behind these posts and stuff. I'm going to try to get some of these girts put up so I can start insulating that upper wall. Now that we've got the ceiling up, we've got half of that wall insulated at the top half. But this side wall is pretty much empty. The back wall, I got a couple of bats up. But I want to try to now get the rest of the insulation up, some of the girts, so that I can do that. And I also want to get started seeing if I can get going on stacking this door into place. I talked with the door company, and this door is a 12-foot door, but I didn't want it to come and hang at a 12-foot height across the ceiling. I think it ends up about not quite 13 on a 12-foot opening. I didn't want it down away from the ceiling. I wanted it up tight to the ceiling, as tight as reasonable possible, within about 6 inches. I just wanted it up and out of the way so I had the maximum clearance in here. So he gave me some 14-foot door track, just told me to cut off the bottom at whatever height fits the height I want. I'm excited to get putting that stuff up, so we'll get it up there, and I'm going to target about 6 inches away from there, 6 inches of clearance from the door to the ceiling when the door is up. I need to shim up the side and across the top above the plywood to build out that thickness, because my hardware boards go straight up the sides all the way up almost to the ceiling. So I need that 1/2 inch thickness shim out, since I don't have the drywall up there to take care of that. I'm just going to go for it and try to get some girts up so we can get some more insulation hung. I know about how much firewood we've been running through the fire as we've been working in here. So today, now that I've seen how quickly it's warming up just with its initial firing, I've got my little cordless tool leaf blower, my little mini one. I'm just going to prop it up at the back to blow through there as if the squirrel cage was running. And I'm going to see how quickly that circulates and warms up things in here. And I'm just going to try to get this place just as roasted inside as I can, just for curiosity. I just want to see just how hot can I get it now that I've got a ceiling cap in here, and how much firewood that takes to get it. I know I've been able to get it to about 48, 49 on a 30-degree day in the back pocket here near the stove. I've already got it just over 50 degrees up at the front and way more comfortable than that at the back. I'm going to let the fan blow off the back of the stove to move the air around. When it starts to feel like, hey man, this is starting to get pretty hot, pretty warm, pretty quick in here, I'll keep an eye on the temperature and see how quickly I can get it from about 52 right now at the window and see if I can get it up anywhere near 65, 70 degrees and see what it'll do. Now, I know I said I'm trying to get it up to 65 or 70 degrees in here. And I'm really only doing that to experiment with the temperature and know kind of how that works for this shop and how well it's going to heat up. In my experience, anytime that I've been working in a shop and trying to get some things done, it's been most comfortable when the shop is between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Since the shop right now is just above 50 degrees, it's actually quite comfortable to work in here with just my lightweight hoodie on over my t-shirt. But working on top of this scaffold this close to the ceiling, it wasn't going to take long at all, and the hoodie would have to come off. So even though my little temperature experiment was going to make it a little bit more uncomfortable for me being this close to the ceiling, it'll actually make this expanding foam work so much better because of the extra heat. I decided to position my camera facing the thermometer and put it on time lapse, and then I left and gave it about an hour, hour and a half to let the temperature experiment run and see what turned out. It ended up reaching a pretty impressive 65 degrees without too much effort.
Whoa! Hey, that looks good. You're right. This is probably your best stair tread you've ever made. Wow. That looks really good. So do you insulate it in between here?
Yeah, and
Just to seal it, or?
Well, and I didn't have any wood glue. It was too cold, so I used that stuff. That stuff is some dang good adhesive, so
Yeah.
I used that as well.
Oh, it's way better than climbing the ladder. It's really warm in here.
Yeah. This is the part I think we need a removable railing,
Okay.
so that if we need to get heavy stuff up here, we can.
Yeah.
I think these railings can probably.
I like the landing. That's plenty big.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason it'd be smaller, but.
Well, we talked about it being 4 foot.
Yeah, but
by 4 foot, so it would be right to this line.
Yeah.
It was going to be just that little bit, but I wanted just a little bit extra headroom above the compressor.
Man, this looks so good.
It'd be nice, huh?
Yeah, the stairs is way nice. I like the way the window hits the stairs too. Like I think that's a nice.
Yeah.
There's
and they're
lots
wide
of
enough
space.
you can like easily pass by.
Nice and wide, right? Like if you're gonna carry some stuff.
Yep. You're not gonna.
Got
No matter if you're
a
carrying a
little
big
space.
tote, you've got all the room to do it.
This is a nice stairs. You really did a good job.
Thanks.
That's really nice. I like that it's not so steep.
Yeah.
On the stair treads, yeah. It is a really nice set of stairs. The cuts look good. Everything, like it is clean looking. I mean, I walk in and it looks uniform. It looks tidy. It looks really, really good. Your room, you got the door. Did you have to?
Well, yeah.
You gonna paint in here? Maybe make it white. So
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
radiant.
Yeah, white just to brighten it up in there, so it's not a dim, dark closet.
Situation.
For now, I'm going to keep it open.
And see.
And that's a really low priority to do anything with.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be where to put outlets and air compressor connections.
Oh, the ceiling.
Things like that.
The ceiling is capped.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Everest did all of it.
I didn't realize this got done too.
Yeah, he did everything with them scaffolds. He was just like,
Well, that's awesome.
He's like, they were such a good purchase.
So the next thing is the garage door. It looks like you already started.
That's what I'm starting to get to.
It's cool.
I do need to get one of those furnace vents. The grill that has, you open it and it has the filter behind, like the 12 by 12 or 16 by 16, and put in right here.
Oh, okay.
But I want one of those furnace filtered ones so that it can be filtering the air going in for the air compressor.
Oh, because of the dust and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the compressor has its own air filter, but if it's locked in a little closet like that, it'll burn up the compressor trying to gather enough air. So.
Very cool. Yeah, with the ceiling cap, it makes a big difference.
It's so comfy in here.
It's very comfortable in here.
And I've only moved the air with that little leaf blower.
Uh-huh.
But it makes me like really anxious to be ceiling fan. And that blower hooked up between the two of those, that'll move up probably 10 times more air than that.
You'd have a cool shop and a warm shop.
Right. Just to moving the air around makes all that difference.
Oh, it looks so good in here. It's really coming together.
Now that the foam had had some time to expand and to set up, and it wasn't going to be a sticky mess for me, I was able to come up here and get started doing the girts and getting them in place. Once I finally finish getting all of these girts installed, then we can continue getting the rest of the wall insulation installed and start really warming things up in here just fine. The other part that needs to get installed is the hardware boards that go up the sides of the garage door. Those boards need to attach to the girts that are up at the very top of the ceiling. So I need to make sure that they're all done so that I can get those boards in place. After that, I can get the garage door tracks mounted and finally start stacking this door up and installing it. I've done a lot of maintenance and repairs to garage doors in different shops and facilities that I've managed in the past, but I've never actually installed a door from scratch. So this will be a new experience, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. It should all come together like a little Lego kit. So I'm ready to start stacking these doors in and getting that hardware put on, but this is the bottom panel of the set of doors that my friend gave me, and right here on this seal, you can see there's a big bend in it right there, like something, like it came down hard onto something, or I don't know what, but I only need 6 of these panels instead of all 7. So I was just going to eliminate this one and use the other 6 that are good. This has got the seal strip on the bottom, and it's got like an extruded aluminum piece that the seal slides into, and that aluminum strip screws onto this. So it's bent as well. Before I take it off while it's still fastened, I'm going to try to see if I can pound that out a little bit and straighten it out. Get it straight enough, hopefully. I think if I have the steel door backer for reinforcement and shape, it'll help keep the aluminum from distorting too much. There's a lot of grooves in this. If it straightens out really crazy, then it will likely just crush some of those or something. The other thing with aluminum, especially like an extruded aluminum, is when it bends once, there's a factor that happens. It's called work hardening. And it's the same idea that if you take like a piece of coat hanger wire or tie wire and you bend it back and forth enough times, eventually it just breaks. And that's because the bending action works the metal, and it's called work hardening, and it becomes harder and harder and harder. And the more you work it, the harder it gets. And eventually it gets so hard that now it breaks rather than bends. It loses all of its tensile strength. So aluminum is especially bad for that. You can have it, it'll bend once, no problem. You think, oh, well, let's just bend it back, and it immediately cracks. And it's just because of that. If I was terribly worried about it, I'd peel this seal out of here, get it down to just the metal parts, and then I would probably hit that with the torch. I'd light the torch to just acetylene and blacken this real good, and then light it up and warm it until that blacking soot just burns off. And that's about the perfect temperature to anneal aluminum. And that would soften it again and release the hardening that happened from it being stretched. So I'm going to see if it moves. If it looks like it's not going to move right, then we may go to that step. And otherwise, we may have to look at a new strip. These are the grooves in there that has that profile to it. So, and if you look, I don't know if you can show up on the camera or not. Maybe with the shine it will, but right in that part of the bend, there's just a little bit of a ripple in this part of it, which is the part that stretched the most. So I'm thinking that it's probably going to try to crack or collapse there. So, but we'll see if it'll move a little. It obviously didn't take too long of messing with this door seal before I realized there's just no way it's going to straighten out and be functional. So I abandoned that option and just got rid of the door panel. I did end up calling the door company that afternoon, and they said they had a new door seal that would fit just fine and wasn't going to be a problem.
I burned out like a wandering ember. I shone bright, then my journey was over. What I sought when I ran was back where I began. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. Well, I scratched in the dirt for a while. I gained all that I knew for a price. In the end, what I found was nowhere near as nice. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. Though I fought with my claws and teeth, though I elbowed my way to a seat, there be no kind of peace like you beside me. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Nothing's as it seems in the photo. Nothing is as sweet going solo. Nowhere I can ramble or roam could change my mind, could slow my coming home. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home. Oh, I'm coming home. Leave open the gate, don't turn off the light, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
All things considered, the door went together really well and really easily. I didn't have any issues trying to get things to line up or have any of those kind of problems. Everything bolted up. I had all the parts I needed. I think I even ended up with a few extra parts. Now I'll just need to follow up with the door company on our last few remaining parts: the torsion bar, springs, and cable kit. Once I have those and the horizontal tracks installed along the ceiling, this door will be in business.